Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. Leviathan is the first raid for Destiny 2 and it absolutely blows my mind. It is on a giant ship that looks like it's about to consume the planet of Nessus, but the raid encounter itself has a very unique aesthetic that we haven't seen in Destiny yet. In fact, the whole raid has a very strong Vegas resort theme to it, which I absolutely love. But in this video, I want to give you guys a quick guide on the first encounter, the Royal Pools. The first step is to make your way up to the entrance using the different stairs and ramps. This outside area is also how you can access the different checkpoints since there's no technical checkpoint system anymore, but we'll touch on that in the next video. The first big open area you'll go into is called the Castellum. This actually serves as sort of a hub point for all of the different encounters. You'll be coming back to this room after each encounter and opening another door. There are 4 encounters in total. The first door we're going to be opening is marked with a sun. You know it's the next room you need to go to because there's a holographic projection of a sun until you walk over the panel, and then it will disappear and reveal the first standard you need to collect. In this case, the first projection is blades, so we're going to head on over to the side of the room that is marked with the blades, and you can see the relic is semi-transparent. And that is because you have to first defeat the standard bearer in order to have access to it. The standard bearer will remain immune until you take out the rest of the Cabal around him, so that'll be priority number 1. Once you defeat this standard bearer, you will be able to take the relic and head on over to the main plate. Again, the first room is the sun room, so you're going to have to look for the sun on the banners to know where to go. Once you place the relic onto the main plate, you'll have to move on to the next projection. In this case, we got Calus. That is above the stairs, the sort of highest point in the room. Then, of course, once you defeat the standard bearer there, you will be able to grab the standard and head on over to the plate again. For this, I essentially recommend having 2 people go for the standard, while 4 people defend the plate you're on, because you will have people called standard liberators that are going to be aiming to reclaim these standards. They are also accompanied by a lot of ads, sort of like an endless wave. They also sometimes can be protected by a very specific scion that you'll have to find around the room and take out in order to be able to do damage to him again. If they successfully reclaim a standard, you will have to get that one again. For the defenders, you're going to want to stick to roaming supers or any other crowd control abilities you have, unless you have the Wardcliff Coil, which is surprisingly good at crowd control and is very effective in this encounter. Once you bring all 3 standards to the plate, the door will open and you will be greeted with a nice little chest. I'm not 100% sure on the loot that you can get from this chest. I think we're still pulling together a loot table as a community, but you will for sure get some of those tokens, which you can take in after the raid and redeem for additional loot. Now, as I mentioned, that is a hub world, so you'll be doing that and opening different doors after each main encounter. So the first main encounter is the Royal Pools. Now, the objective of this encounter is to destroy 9 lanterns that are in the middle room. However, they're submerged in water at the start of the encounter and you have to raise them up. Well, how do you raise them up? Well, in classic Bungie fashion, it has to do with plates. There are 4 plates around the room, and standing on the plates will crank the chains, lowering your white link and also raising the lanterns in the center room. Getting off the plate impedes your progress and makes your chain move upwards. Once all of the white links hit the bottom, they will lock into position and you will hear a tone to signify everyone to rush to the middle. Now, before we move on, things are made a little bit more complicated by the fact that the water hurts you when you stand in it, so to protect yourself, you'll need to walk through the mysterious orb there that grants you psionic protection. These buffs are on the plates when you start, and picking you up gives you a stack of 50 that will start decreasing the longer you stay in the water. And the only way to get your buff back is to grab it from the center room. And if that wasn't enough of a challenge, you will also be facing some orange bar enemies called Bathers. Their only significance is to hurt you. They look very unique, but all they are is just a normal enemy, so take them out as fast as you can. Our strategy went as follows. We had 3 people on the left and 3 on the right, 1 person rotating and the other 2 on the plates. So for the left side, I started on the bottom left plate and waited there until about halfway through my psionic protection, and then I booked it to pick up a recharge, then made my way to the top left plate to relieve that next person. That person at that point makes his way, grabs his charge, and then heads on over to the bottom plate to relieve the person that's standing there now, and then you pretty much do a relay race with this until it's completed. So I stay on that plate until I get relieved, I go pick up the protection one more time, and head on over to the top left plate, rinse and repeat. Luckily it goes pretty fast as long as you can manage to stay on the plates as long as possible. Once you hear the tone and the change in music, you can head on over to the center room. Now, I was on ad control, and you're gonna need it because you're gonna have a lot of bathers spawning from the 3 different baths that are around the room. The rest of the fire team has to stand in the middle, granting them a buff called Force of Will, which allows them to do damage to the lanterns. There are 9 of them, 3 in each corner, and I recommend focusing each of them down together as you can see here. If you're on crowd control or just want to take down your bathers quickly, I recommend a shotgun like the Hawthorne's Field Forge shotgun, the Wardcliffe coil, or a really good fusion rifle, basically anything with a ton of close range impact. Now at a certain point in this damage cycle, your team will start to take damage from the pool because their buff has worn off, and also at a certain point the Force of Will buff will go away, sort of forcing you into a second rotation. You'll also have scions that spawn in the room, and you'll want to take them out pretty quickly as well. Then everyone should sort of reset. There will be brand new psionic protection buffs on your plates, so you should be good to go for round 2. Aside from that, you should be able to complete this encounter in about 2 rotations. Once destroying all 9 lanterns, you will be rewarded a drain key for your efforts, in addition to a loot chest. So congratulations, you just completed the first encounter of the raid. So when you're all done, you can head back through the entrance back out to the Castellum and work on opening the second encounter. And for that, we'll save it for a separate video. Anyways, let me know in the comments below any good strategies you have for completing this encounter. We can all learn together. Drop a like if you found this useful, and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time.